This is week 9 of Project Governance and Ethics. Last week, we noted that companies will have a code of ethics or a code of conduct, which will be based on the values held by society and the organisation. Corporations will have their governance statements, a vision statement for the organisation, and this will be linked to the code of conduct, which in turn will set out exactly how the organisation expects its employees to act. I suggest you do a web search, just a simple search on code of conduct, and you will find numerous company codes that you can read. But just having a code of conduct is no guarantee that ethical transgressions will not occur in the company. Even with a code of conduct in place, how often do we hear of company executives who have been prosecuted for ethical scandals? I did a web search, again simply titled Ethical Scandals in Business, which produced a rather large list of reports of unethical behaviour in business. Have a look for yourself. Let's look for a while at personal values and how these might affect how we view ethical behaviour. Without realising it, ethics is with us in every part of our daily lives when we interact with others. Individuals develop their own sense of right and wrong as they go through life, and often this is based on what happens to us in a childhood and is influenced by parents or others we interact with as children. There are many examples of applying, or perhaps failing to apply, an ethical or moral approach in our everyday life. Let's take a simple example of lying. We know lying is basically wrong, but we may not see that as being unethical. For example, lying in the witness box in a court of law is perjury and is against the law. Incorrect statements on your income tax return is against the law. However, it's not against the law to lie to your partner or friends or to hide something from them, but it is unethical. Equally, it's not lying, not telling the whole truth, but it's unethical. Cheating is another example. A 2006 study showed that among graduate students in major universities in the USA, students in business and engineering were the worst at cheating, and students doing research projects even considered it was fine to fudge data just a little bit to support their research. Unethical. Unfortunately, it would seem that often people develop a personal code of conduct or values based more on what they think they can get away with. Therefore, individuals will have a personal code of conduct they have developed that sits comfortably within their set of personal values. But a corporation, as we said last week, cannot rely on the conduct of individual employees, which is based on their own idea of ethics, to align with the ethics of the company. Thus, the need for a corporate code. Now, if you are ever asked to develop a code of conduct, there are 3 words: moral, ethics, and the law. Are often used to mean the same thing, but in fact, they are 3 independent concepts. Moral varies from person to person, culture to culture, and society to society. Ethics are the standards of behaviour within a group of people that indicate how to behave to achieve the moral objectives that the particular group sees as important. And that may not be the same in every society, or certainly probably will not be the same. Laws are the minimum code of conduct to which the group will adhere, and failure to achieve that minimum behaviour will attract punishment. In writing a code of conduct, there are 5 things to remember. First of all, think in terms of values and expectations, not facts. Values and expectations ahead of facts. Secondly, write with the readers in mind. 3, give examples of what is expected. Fourthly, be sure there is no ambiguity in the code. And 5, above all, be sure the expectations are achievable. There's no point in putting unachievable expectations in a code of conduct. This week, there is a lot of information on ethics and ethical behaviour that can be found on the web. Check the notes for the week and also the standards that are listed in the notes. So, keep up the good work, posting to the weekly forums, and I'll be back next week.
This is such an interesting subject.